The Swordsmith village arc was one of the peak moments of Demon Slayer, but what if Sanemi had gone to the village instead of Mitsuri and Muichiro? We first gotta ask, why is Sanemi even at the Swordsmith village? For the sake of this alternate reality, let's say that Sanemi was in the position of Muichiro in the original series, in which Sanemi takes his sword and demands to use the Yoriichi Type 0, causing him to argue with the young swordsmith. As if being a psycho isn't enough, he decides to bully a kid. During Kotetsu and Sanemi's argument, Tanjiro intervenes, and Sanemi challenges Tanjiro to a fight, testing his strength. Despite fighting fiercely, Tanjiro is defeated. Sanemi lands a final punch that sends Tanjiro flying, causing him to lose consciousness. This man has no chill whatsoever. Kotetsu had been observing the fight from a distance and decided to give Sanemi the Yoriichi Type 0, hoping it would make him happy and calm down. Maybe then he would stop wrecking swords and punching faces. Later, Tanjiro and Genya had a small talk. Meanwhile, Sanemi tried to provoke Nezuko, just like what happened in the rehabilitation training arc. But Tanjiro convinced him she was different. Suddenly, the scaredy cat demon Hantengu appeared. Sanemi and Tanjiro found themselves in a challenging situation against the upper-ranked demon Hantengu. Despite their best efforts, they struggled to land a decisive blow, as Hantengu proved elusive and difficult to pin down. Nezuko joined the scene, lending her strength to the fight. She launched a powerful kick at Hantengu, displaying her formidable combat skills. In a surprising turn of events, Sanemi succeeded in beheading Hantengu. But Hantengu literally said, "Psych!" Hantengu regenerated easily, sprouting new heads and bodies in response to the attack. Sanemi was then caught off guard and blown away by a gust of wind, generated by a leaf-shaped fan wielded by Hantengu's clone, Karaku. Amidst the chaos, Tanjiro found himself targeted by Sekido's lightning bolts. Genya made his entrance into the battlefield, firing Nichiren steel bullets at their enemy. His arrival added a new dynamic to the fight, increasing the pressure on Hantengu. The situation took another dramatic turn when Urogi, a winged clone, swooped down and seized Tanjiro. Despite being hit with a powerful attack, Tanjiro managed to retaliate by cutting off the demon's leg in a desperate counterattack. Hantengu just popping clones left and right like they're Pokemon at this point. In the meantime, Sanemi landed safely. Sanemi angrily rushes to Hantengu and Tanjiro, but Sanemi sees a fish-like demon attempting to eat Kotetsu. As the fish demon squeezes Kotetsu unconscious, its arm is sliced off, freeing the young swordsmith off its hold. Sanemi rushes in and takes a stance in front of Kotetsu, asking him to run away as he will only get in the way of his fighting. Meanwhile, Tanjiro and the others are buying time, waiting for Sanemi to come back. Since Tanjiro can't defeat these four powerful demons by himself, and he can't rely on Genya in terms of power, he realizes they are all outmatched. Although Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya are on the losing side, the only way they can win is by stalling the fight and waiting for Sanemi's help. He may have been as arrogant as an anime villain, but he is still the strongest demon slayer there. Fast forward to the fight between Gyoko and Sanemi. Well, the fact that Sanemi is closest to the rank of Gyomei, we can merely assume that he can win this. But it won't be an easy matchup for him. Gyoko introduces himself and asks Sanemi if he could have a word before killing him, as Kotetsu stands behind him. But just like the arrogant villain that he is, Sanemi lunges forward and attempts to slash the upper five's neck, only for the demon to duck back into his vase and appear at another atop the roof. We can relate to Sanemi. This is like when you play an RPG game and you encounter that boss that teleports everywhere. Gyoko demands he be allowed to continue speaking, but Sanemi leaps up and slashes the vase, noting that he sliced it with little resistance. A new vase appears on the ground, and Gyoko curses the Hashira for destroying his old one. Sanemi notes that unlike Hantengu, who is not avoiding slashes to the neck, Gyoko is evading his attacks, indicating that he can be killed by decapitation. In the midst of their intense battle, Gyoko employs his unique ability, the Blood Demon Art Water Prison Pot. This technique manifests as a watery pot with the intention of trapping Sanemi within. However, Sanemi is not easily subdued. Sanemi counters with his own technique, Wind-Breathing First Form Dust Whirlwind Cutter. This move effectively neutralizes Gyoko's initial attack, but Gyoko was not done. He revealed another facet of his abilities, in which he forms a vase from his hand, and from it emerges two demon goldfish. These goldfish are not ordinary because, again, they are hella ugly, but they also possess the ability to spit hundreds of needles at their target. With Sanemi's agility and precision, he skillfully evades this onslaught. The goldfish launch a second wave of needles. This time, Sanemi is not just fighting for himself, but also for Kotetsu. Sanemi positions himself between the needles and Kotetsu, shielding him from the attack. Gyoko mocks Sanemi for his heroic act, and Sanemi's veins start to pop. He retaliates with another technique. Wind breathing, second form, claws, purifying wind. In response to this, an infuriated Goku unleashes octopus tentacles from his body in an attempt to ensnare Sanemi. Sanemi reacts swiftly and severs the tentacle with a swift slash of his sword. Despite the setback, Gyoko taunts Sanemi about his speed. I'm just wondering why Gyoko didn't just start a sushi restaurant. Anyway, Sanemi finds determination and unlocks his Demon Slayer mark. Sanemi grabs his blade and uses fourth form, Rising Dust Storm, as Gyoko performs Blood Demon art. Killer Fish Scales. Sanemi charges like a mad bull and leaps up into the air. The Hashira blitzes forward and uses 8th form, Primary Gale Slash, and slices up Gyoko's head instantly. And just like that, the battle ends with Gyoko defeated. Muzan can never financially recover from this because we all know Gyoko's vases bring a lot of cash. Back to the fight, Genya already became a demon and Zohakuten had manifested. The trio are having trouble with Zohakuten, and here's where the other twist comes in, ladies and gentlemen. Mitsuri isn't here, so who'll save Tanjiro from certain death? At this moment, Nezuko and Genya are still being locked in by the dragon. So who else? That's right, it's the one and only rough powerhouse, Sanemi. With his wind breathing and speed, Sanemi makes it in the nick of time, blocking a fatal attack from Zohakuten. Sanemi jumps and does a superhero move, releasing Nezuko and Genya from Zohakuten's grasp. Sanemi uses everything in his arsenal to fight against Zohakuten, while Genya backs him up. Nezuko quickly rushes to Tanjiro's aid and protects him from any attacks. Meanwhile, Sanemi uses this as an opportunity to decapitate Hantengo and uses 7th form, Gale. Sudden gusts, but Genya warns his decapitation doesn't work. Zohakuten quickly launches a counterattack. However, Sanemi pushes Genya out of the way, saving his life. However, Sanemi suffers a critical wound. This is where Sanemi once again unleashes his Demon Slayer mark. Sanemi using his Demon Slayer mark gives him a major power boost, even putting him on equal footing against Zohakuten. Sanemi then shouts, "Hurry, Tanjiro! Find the main body! Me and my brother will handle this." Tanjiro, with his strong sense of smell, locates Hantengu running away in the forest. Similar to the original story, Tanjiro and Nezuko chase the coward and tries to catch up to him, while Sanemi and Genya hold off Zohakuten. Tanjiro uses thunder breathing to catch up to Hantengu, but only risking Nezuko to be exposed to the sun. Tanjiro eventually decapitates Hantengu just as Sanemi passes out from his injuries. Sanemi wakes up after a few hours with his injuries treated and sees all three of them passed out waiting next to him. Sanemi thanks Tanjiro and Nezuko for their help, and also acknowledges their strong brother-sister bond. Sanemi, seeing the important sibling bond, apologizes to Genya for being a bad brother, and says he will try harder. This is where the story could change as Sanemi trains with Genya to become even stronger together. But before you go, take a look at the video on the screen for more Demon Slayer What If videos.